Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm in the trailer, but the trailer is in a new location. I had to move it out of my driveway because I'm having work done at my house soon. So I'm actually in a parking lot at Dundas Yoga and Fitness. So that's where I'm hanging out this morning. And so I had to bring my coffee to go in a thermos, and I've got everything ready to go, all the cards here. So we'll jump in. How is everyone doing? Good morning. Great to see all of you. So glad you joined in. How is everyone doing? Now we're in stage 2. Things are starting to open up. Kind of getting back to real life a little bit. Hey, everybody. Okay, good. I'm super jazzed. I'm very excited today for some reason. I don't know why. So hopefully the cards are also exciting. Okay? Yes. Cheers. If you have tea or coffee or whatever you're drinking. I've got my Norwegian hiking cup. That's what that means, hiking cup. It's a little bamboo cup. It's been all over the world. Still kicking. All right, so let's start today off with, I'm going to go with my intuition, but if you have a favorite deck, like always, please post what deck you want me to choose from. But for right now, I'm just going to go with my intuition and this one, the Magdalene Oracle. I'm not having detox tea, no. I'm drinking decaf coffee. I've taken myself off the caffeine again because I'm really feeling that eclipse we had in the new moon. I've had so much energy, but it's good because I've had so many things I've had to do in the last week, and I think the new moon was in my sign, so maybe that's why it's affecting me this way. I don't know, but it's good because I've needed to have the energy in the tank to do all the things I've been required to do lately. Okay, so Magdalene Oracle. All right, we're gonna go with this one. Oh, we had this one before. I'm gonna pull a second one because maybe we're still working with the energy, but I feel like I talked about that card before, so let's pull 2. Okay, we'll pull these 2. Okay. Not that we can't do the same card, but it's the Universal Christ card. And I think I pulled this card last month. And it means different things depending on when it's pulled. When I'm looking at this card now, I'm really drawn to the third eye chakra. It's opening, it's starting to open. So for those of you who have been working on your intuition, if you feel like you've been blocked lately or haven't had the clarity you've needed, really focus on this spot when you're meditating or before you go to bed at night. Set the intention for this area to expand. You can just imagine it like a flower opening up to the sun. But imagine that getting larger, because I feel like that's where our energy needs to be right now with this universal consciousness and the universal Christ. The Christ energy is that energy of being divinity within your physical body. It's about acknowledging that you're a spiritual being, but yes, you're in the physical body. And that can feel limiting sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. Part of becoming the Christ is overcoming your physical body, still working with it, not leaving it behind, but bringing that divinity down into this package. That's very different than just wanting to drop the body and beam up. You know, we're here to do the work on the earth. That's why we chose these bodies and came down to this level of existence. Otherwise, we'd be floating around up there with all the angels and everything good. We wouldn't have done it. We came down here. I don't know why we did. I'm going to swear now. We were probably batshit crazy, okay? But we're here. Let's make the most of it. While we're here, we're to focus on bringing our divine essence more centered, anchored into ourselves at this time. Okay? I've talked about this coronavirus quarantine as a spiritual retreat. I've kind of jokingly referred to that all along. Well, now that things are opening up, it's like what happens at the end of a retreat. So for any of you who have gone on a spiritual pilgrimage or retreat or even gone into deep meditation for several days, you hit those sticky points when you're in the retreat, and then at the end it's sort of bittersweet. You're sad to leave it because you learned so much and you had that time away, and you're also a little bit excited to return to your life. But what happens when you come back to your life is usually utter chaos because you've changed so much and evolved so much on the retreat. When you come back into the world you left behind, it has to reconfigure, it has to rearrange. And I really feel that's what's happening right now with all of us. We're being asked to return to the world. You know, we've been retreated away and the world has changed, but we've changed. So you might notice there's a lot of change or even upheaval, and it might not even be change you're choosing, but just roll with it. This is good stuff. This is change you've wanted. This is change you've needed. Try to get through it gently. Try to get through it easily, because it's how we're getting where we're going. So this Universal Christ card is for you to really anchor into that energy of understanding that you're a soul in a body here. And our physical body, you know, we have a mind and we have dreams and ambitions and agendas, and we're not always in alignment with our soul purpose. It's always operating in the background. So in your life here, if it feels chaotic or you don't understand what's happening or you're not sure about the direction you're going in, you just feel like you're being kind of pulled there, just go with it, because that's your soul trying to get you from A to B. You'll work out the details and all that other fine-tuning stuff later, but right now the key is to trust, okay? So just trust that. It's all good. We're coming out of the retreat. We're coming back into the world. It can seem a little crazy. It is crazy, but sense of humor is important, as well as really anchoring into your divine self in the physical, okay? Finding that balance. So the second card I pulled from the same deck, because I felt I needed to pull two, is called Serendipity. And to me, this card is about synchronicity, but it's also about reflection. You can see this lady, she has her head down. There's this fire happening and there's this bright star above her head. For me, the fire is all about creativity. What are you creating? What are you hoping to manifest in your life going forward? You've had your retreat, you've had lots of time to think about what works, what doesn't work. So now it's time to think of those things as you move forward. What do you want to put your time and energy on? Because you can't put your time and energy on everything. I mean, I am guilty of this. I do a lot of things all at the same time. I get really excited about a lot of things. I throw myself into them and then I burn myself out sometimes. So finding that balance between all of those things. So if you're like me and you have a lot on your plate right now, then just pick the pressing things, the things that require your attention immediately, and then you can work your way towards the other things. But to really cultivate that creativity, so if you have 100 ideas coming at you, get a journal, write them down, shelf some of them for later. It doesn't mean you have to discard them. Just choose one or two to work on. But this energy and this star and this light is coming down to her. Divine inspiration. You're going to get a lot of ideas about direction and changes coming lately that are not coming from you. They're coming from your soul, but it might feel like it just pops into your head. So don't discard any wonderful ideas or creative ideas that just pop into your head, because sometimes those are the ones that are the most powerful, because they're coming from spirit. And when we're open to receive, it will just come in almost completely. I was talking to a friend about this the other day, how sometimes in the dream time, you can wake up from a dream and have the answer to all of your questions or what you've been looking for in its entirety, but you don't always know how to get to that point. So if it's a problem you've been trying to solve, you might wake up with the solution, but not the steps on how to get to the solution, and you'll figure that stuff out. So this card is about using your creativity, staying open, opening that third eye, allowing new inspiration to come in, okay? A lot of the time during the quarantine, there was some heavy energy, there was some clearing out energy, there was some healing energy, and a lot of us were cleaning out closets and discarding things and letting go of things. I know that in my life, the last several weeks have been about letting go, letting go, letting go. And I've resisted some of the letting go, but as soon as I finally went with it, then all this fresh energy came in with all of these new opportunities. And we know this happens. I mean, there's that saying, when one door closes, another opens, and we know this, but we don't always trust it, or we don't always know this. So this is about that new creativity coming and you being supported by spirit, that energy is going to come in. It might be in your backyard and you're just hit with a whopper of a great idea or business idea or something fantastic, and don't discard it. Just, journal. I'm a big believer in journaling. I know we don't always write anymore with pens and paper, but if you have a phone like I do that has a notes section, you can just make some notes on your phone or even dictate to your phone to remember things for later. Because I feel like the energy's shifting, a lot might be coming at you. Don't get overwhelmed in it. Just record it for later. And I apologize if I'm sweating in here. My battery operated fan decided to die, and it's so humid where I am in Ontario right now. It's raining right now. We really need the rain, but I feel like in the trailer right now, I'm in I'm in the hot room. I'm in the yoga hot room right now. Essentially what's happening here. So I'm very hot. Okay, let's see. Does anybody, oh yes, I'm just laughing at the comments. Someone put batshit crazy, great quote for a t-shirt for yoga class. Probably, especially for the teachers. But yes, it is. It's sauna-like in here. All right, so I feel like I'm being pulled to the romance angels. So maybe some of you are looking for love, or you just need some romance angel advice. And then after this, Shelley has requested the fairy deck, so we'll do that one right after this one. Again, if you have a deck that you want, I've got the Universal Love, the Rumi Oracle, Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, Divine Guidance. I've got the Rider Tarot and Angel Tarot, and then I've got the cards I had last time with the Gold Wing, Silver Wing, and the Circle one. So yeah, just put in the comments if you have a particular deck you want me to draw from today. Okay, this is the one. Ooh, somebody is getting serious. Okay, so engagement. Right? All you fence sitters out there, it's time to bite the bullet. So this is about love going to that next, I guess, I don't want to call it a level, but in partnership and relationships, there's stages you go through. And this card also is relevant, even if you are married right now or in a partnership right now. It's about acknowledging that your relationship has shifted and changed, maybe over the last few months, and now it's time to take it to a deeper level. And that might be found in the way that you communicate with one another. Maybe you weren't having those deep conversations before or didn't feel that you could, and maybe now it's time you can lay it all on the table with your partner and just hearts wide open, minds wide open, and have that communion. It could be that you've been waffling back and forth with the relationship, and now it's time to either commit to the relationship and take it to the next level, or commit to ending the relationship, right? That's also important. So wherever you're at in your love relationships, this card is about committing to yourself and the relationship on a deeper level. And if you find that you're not able to do that, then you need to look at the relationship and decide if it is the right one for you to continue forward with. But overall, it's a card about positive change, and so it's not like a bad card at all. And for those of you who've been waiting for a proposal or wanting to get married and the time doesn't feel right, and it's just like, maybe it's time to talk about that, because this card is about coming together. It's about creating that solid connection, that solid bond. So finding out where the other person's at and having that conversation. Could be that you decide to move in together. It could be that you decide to, get a family pet together, have a child, get married, buy a house, all of those big relationship things that we go through. So that's good. That's exciting. All right, now to the fairies. I feel like I'm just sitting in the trailer sweating right now, like for real. Should have brought a roll of paper towels, honestly. I'm getting the detox. Might not be detox tea today, but it's detox sauna. Whew. Okay. All right. So from the fairy deck, interesting card, Heart's Desire. Feels like things are getting better, right, universe? Okay, we're getting some really good positive cards about dreams coming true and things coming together and creative project's turning out great, guys. Finally, here we go. The angels are supporting, guiding, and protecting you as your dreams become a reality. Can I get a hell yes? Okay. So for those of you who have been in a ball crying for the last 6 months, it's time to have a shower, get some clothes on, and get outside. Because things are happening, things are changing. I think it's safe to peek your head out if you haven't exited your house. This is time to, all that reflection you had, you know, even when we're depressed and we go through periods of like hating everything, that's important. Sometimes that's how you learn what you want, by going through too much of what you don't want. And it's funny because I was talking to my son about this the other day, and we were talking about how teachers we had in the past, and even employers we've had in the past, that we've learned more from the ones that were really challenging or just awful, because we learned what never to do with another person, or how never to be, you know, in that situation. And so sometimes we learn more from adversity, and we learned a lot, and we're still learning through this whole quarantine and not being able to see people, and reassessing our finances, our businesses, our homes, our relationships. All that stuff came under the microscope. It was some big, heavy stuff, and even childhood stuff and old stuff and really just junky stuff. So it's like we've all been crazy hoarders, and then we had to clean out our house, and we were forced into it. We didn't want to do it. I'm talking like the analogy of it. And now we've got this fresh, clear space, and it's time to create. It's time to bring some new things into our life, and we're in the time. So even if you're not seeing it manifest right now, we're planting the seeds. We're getting off our butts, and we're doing it. Okay, even if you're a little scared, as long as it's not life, you know, threatening. Look at the fear, because sometimes we'll have apprehension or fear just because of its change. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just normal to have that. And also too, if things start coming together very quickly for you, like you might have been working on things for months and months, and then all of a sudden in one day everything's coming together and happening very quickly. Sometimes we put the brakes on out of fear. We're like, whoa, that's too much too soon. But in all honesty, when that happens, that means you're in the flow. That means this is meant to happen. It's like your guides and angels have been waiting for everything to get ready, and now they're like, okay, let's go, it's go time. So if you feel like you've gone from inactivity, in almost sloth mode in quarantine, to like full tilt, that's okay. Just try to go with it, and the little fears you have, kind of sit and take them within yourself and meditate and figure out, are they real fear to keep you from something, or is it just a little bit of fear because you're going into a new place, a new adventure, and new things can feel a little scary, but you'll have that fear mixed with the excitement of going forward. If it's terrifying fear and paralyzing fear, and you know, obviously don't go down that road. But okay, so oh good, okay, Shelley, yes, so that's why you wanted that deck. That card came up. That was probably for you. I think it was for all of us, but that was like your spirit guide shouting at you. Okay, so let's go to divine guidance. This is the deck that like has those fractal images, very beautiful images. We're gonna go here. I hope it's not showing up on the camera, me just sitting here in a puddle. All right. Ooh, this one. This is the one. Oh, which one? This one. Ooh, okay. I've never pulled this card before. So just for those of you who are interested, this is the Divine Guidance deck by Sherilee Harnish, and I love it because she's got a couple decks, and they're all fractal images, and they're really interesting. And there's numbers on the bottom that you can look up in the book what they mean, but I like to go into the card and kind of see, you know, what pops out at me and use my intuition. So this is a really, I just find it interesting. I've never pulled this card before. So it's got a lot of pink, and look at that bright light, that bright green light that's coming out of that darkness there. To me, this is almost like a keyhole in a door. It's like that bottom part has been peeled away to be able to see into that void or that dark expanse. And so and that light. So this is like the void of creation, and this kind of goes along with that creativity I was talking about. For some of you, when you might not know what you're creating or know what you want to create right now, and that's okay, but the energy is supporting you. So even if you don't have the clarity around it, I really feel that's going to come to you. So whether you sit in meditation and ask for the clarity, or before going to bed at night, just ask, just say, angels, guides, bring me some clarity on my life, or this particular topic, or this particular thing, or this relationship or job, or whatever it is you're struggling with. And then in the morning, just take a moment and slowly wake up and see how it feels in your body and in your mind. You might find that the answer came to you, or it might come to you that morning. So this is about peeling back those layers and going deeper into something. So for those of you who are already involved in a project or something like that, it might be bigger than you think it's going to be. You might be starting a little side gig and thinking, oh yeah, just for some extra money or just for some extra fun, and then it turns into a business that takes over your whole life. So this card is showing me that it might seem small, or you might think your idea is small, but it's going to really expand, especially if it's in alignment with your soul purpose. You're really going to see this expand, and it might expand rather quickly. So like I mentioned before, don't get freaked out when all your dreams start coming true, and don't put the brakes on. Just keep going forward. Just breathe and keep going forward. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Shelley. Now she's giving me compliments. She's saying I look great, even though I'm in a puddle of sweat over here. Thanks, I appreciate it. Anyway, this web too on the outer edge is that web of creation, because everything is a web. We could get big with this. It's like a web or a grid. I kind of see it like a big spider web, and the lines are all energy and vibration, and everything vibrates, and that's how everything's created, through vibration and through connection. And we're all threads in that web, and we all weave in and around each other's lives, and it's constantly changing. It's this weave that's constantly changing. I think this is why I love textiles so much, and when I'm traveling, I really get really excited about the textiles and the embroidery and the different cultures, like the Shipibo women in Peru with their embroidery, and then also the weaving, and just I'm always drawn to the textiles. I'm a little afraid to go to India because I think I'll need to, bring a huge bag of stuff home. But because I think that's an analogy for life and creation, this weave, these threads that come together. And that's how it works too when I do an intuitive reading for myself or another person. I'm reading the potential future timelines, and some of those timelines are threads, and some of them are solid and they're already in the weave, and some are potentials because they depend on other people, places, things, times, and events to come together to make them come into the weave. So sometimes I'm reading that thread before it comes into the weave, and it might be like a fragile thread. It depends on your choices and other people's choices. And sometimes it's one of those base like threads where it's happening no matter what, and everybody else is just gonna have to come along with it. So that's why if you've ever had an intuitive reading, not everything will happen exactly as the person who did your reading said, because the whole point of having a reading is to get information so you can make different choices. If we just went and had a reading and did nothing in our lives, then yes, it would play out exactly the same. But we're meant to get the future information so that we can make choices. Otherwise, what's the point? It would be like, it would just not make sense to just know what's coming and you can't do anything about it. I mean, there are some things that are destined to happen that we can't do anything about, but we do have a lot of free will and choice here. So your free will and choice, you can take advantage of the opportunities coming to you. You don't have to, but what I'm trying to say is they're coming. So what have you got to lose, right? Just say yes. And then if it doesn't seem right later, you can say no. You can always change your mind. I don't know why people think that they can't change their mind. Even with big stuff. Let's say, I don't know, you decide to quit your job. And then you're like, oh God, that was a terrible mistake. You can probably get another job in the same industry or same field, or you could even probably go back to your employer and beg for your old job back. Like, we can always go back to our past. Always. Because you've been there, you know how it works, and you know how to be in that past. But going to the future, that's an entirely different thing, and that's what we're being asked to do right now. So it's a bit scary, it's a bit unknown, it takes some faith, but you know, if you're making a decision to let something go, you can always go back to it 99.9% of the time. Even relationships, sometimes you can always go back to if you make a sudden rash decision to exit it. You know, it's just life. So go for it, guys. Okay. All right. Let's do Universal Love, because this whole deck was jumping out at me, and it is one of my favorites. And I don't get any money from the people who made these decks. These are just the decks that I have that I love. So, all right. Forgiveness. Interesting. Okay. So forgiveness card is coming up, everybody. And I think, you know, in general, forgiveness, it's a daily thing. It's an everyday thing. It should always be there in the background, because when we don't forgive, when we hold on to anger, sadness, hurt, judgment, whatever we're holding on to that we can't let go of, that is not affecting anyone else except for ourselves. And it really affects our health, it affects our well-being, it affects our state of mind. Now, I recognize some things that happen are rather terrible, and you can't just magically forgive overnight. It's a process. It's a daily process. But this card, I think this is about forgiving your past when I look at this card. So maybe some of you are having trouble with your past choices you made in the past, maybe that you felt held you back or prevented you from being where you think you should be right now. Maybe you need to forgive yourself for past relationships you had that didn't serve you, that you felt wasted your time. It feels like this card, there's this need for forgiveness from the past, and this feeling that you wasted time, or that you're not on your path, or that you made bad choices that somehow delayed you. I just want to cancel that out for you right now and say that you might think that, but you're exactly where you need to be right now. All of those choices, all of those events got you to here. And yes, some of them are awful. Okay, that's life. It's the way it is. I've had my fair share too. And I joke with my healer friends that we get it extra hard so that we have more compassion for our clients, because what's better than telling your troubles to someone who's already been there and they're still standing and they're still alive, they made it through, then that helps you feel like you can make it through as well, right? But stop looking backwards, okay? Like take the next couple days to look at your past, look at what you need to forgive from your past, and try to let it go in whatever way you need to. But just acknowledge that it was part of your life. It's made you who you are. Even the really hard times and the adversity maybe allowed you to see how strong you really are, how capable you really are, that you can overcome. Maybe it's given you more compassion to help other people. I have a couple friends in my life who've had horrific experiences in their lifetimes, and they ended up taking that experience they had, and that changed the direction of their life and their career, where they shifted into a role of helping people because they wanted to help people in the way that they had been helped. So it's kind of magical version of turning your lemons into lemonade. But this card is about forgiveness. Maybe forgiving other people, that might resonate with you, but for me, this card is, I feel like it's about forgiving yourself, okay? Forgiving yourself for not being, you fill in the blank there, for not being perfect, for not making better choices, for whatever you need to forgive yourself for. Just do it. It's time, okay? It's time to let that, I'm gonna swear, it's the shit go. Let that shit go, okay? It's heavy, and let it go, because all this new energy that's coming in, that's bringing new things for us, you want to be able to run towards those new opportunities. You don't want to be like dragging a dead horse or a pile of poop behind you on a tarp. Like, that's going to slow you down here. So use the next couple days leading up to the weekend. We're kind of coming out of the new moon, but it's a great time to let stuff go. If you've got a fire pit in your backyard, have a fire. Write some stuff down. Throw it in the fire, whatever you want to release. Do whatever ceremony you need to do to release the heavy stuff, because you won't be using it where you're going, okay? New stuff's coming, and so the more you can let go of, the more you'll be open to receive those opportunities that are coming in. I really want you guys be open to receive them, because I'm feeling super jazzed about what's coming down the line. So I feel like we're coming out the end of we're coming out of the cave of the coronavirus experience, the spiritual retreat we were on. All right, let's do what? Anybody have a deck request? Okay. Yes, let's do these ones. These are weird little cards, but I like them. So I pick a silver wing one, a gold wing one, and then a 2-circle one. Let me try and make sense of the madness. That's what we do in the trailer. Life is crazy. Crazy times. But it's fun, right? And we're all in it together. We've got to have some fun. Hope you make some time to have some fun this summer. And celebrate some of the stuff you've been through and the stuff you've overcome. Have a party for yourself. I know we're not out of the woods yet, but I feel like we can start to celebrate and enjoy summer. I think it's going to keep getting better. Okay. Wow, well, this is a shocker. Time for creativity and transformation, everybody. In case you missed the first message of the day, that's it. Time for creativity and transformation. Creativity doesn't mean you have to be an artist and take a painting or do something like that. Creativity is about creating anything in your life. It can be a physical thing like art or cultivating a garden or all of that kind of stuff. But creativity is just about change. It's about making positive change. Okay. I don't have an Egyptian tarot. I don't have one, but there are so many tarot decks out there. They're amazing. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And so whatever one kind of calls to you or you're drawn to or you find, absolutely like play around with it. Shelley finally got a hug from her grandchildren. Yes, it's nice. We're able to connect with people again. I finally saw my sister, her family, my niece, my nephews, my mom. We all hung out together last week. It was great. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm a hugger and I don't do well when I'm not around people. So thank God for my cat, although he's been absolutely tortured through this. Okay, so the silver wing one, allow a certain situation to wind down. Okay, what does that mean? Let things that are dying and fading out, let them fade out. Don't try to hang on to it. Okay, just allow things to reshuffle, because I really feel like spirit is in all of our lives right now, trying to help us rearrange stuff. Okay, so to use the analogy of a house, like let's say we're a house and we were hoarders and we got rid of all this stuff, and now it's time to fill our house with things, and we're kind of like, what do we do here? It's like having a interior decorator friend that you love come over and help you for free pick out what goes in each room. That's what spirit's doing right now. It's bringing us towards where we've always wanted to be, but we have to allow that experience. And so allow things to wind down. If things seem to be ending or coming to a close or completion, you can fight it if you want, but you're just going to kind of drag it out. It might get even more uncomfortable until it ends, and that's okay. Like, I mean, if you need to do that until you know for certain, like, I'm not advocating anyone rushes into huge life decisions, but just trust that things are being rearranged for you and you're kind of being led along the way to where you need to be, or picked up and moved, or down the river of life. So the key is November and brand new aspirations. November, okay, so that's not too far away. So maybe that's when things really blow up and get big or launch. Maybe you're working on a project and you're like, when do I launch my business? When do I offer these new products or these new services? November looks like a good month for new stuff. It doesn't mean don't do anything from now till November. It just means if you have a big project, a big new thing, that looks like a great month to support that. So keep that in mind. All right. Whew, I got a little bit of a breeze coming through the window here. I'm very grateful. All right, what deck should we go to now? Yes, Boxing Day Babe on here said yay Merlin. She was one of the foster moms for my cat. I got him when he was 8 months old, and he wasn't very cuddly when I first got him, although he was cuddly with them. Like, they socialized him and made him a really wonderful cat. And he had a couple days with me where he wasn't sure, And now he's so cuddly. He's like almost become a lap cat. He's even cuddly with other people. Like my kids were over the other day and they're like, oh my God, the cat is so cuddly now. I'm like, I know, right? Like, so I love it. I love him so much. I'm actually going to try and bring him in the trailer at some point, but not for this because it would be crazy. And just to let all of you know, while some of you were hoarding toilet paper during coronavirus, I was hoarding trailers. I have another one coming in about a week. So the next tea and tarot that I do might be in a different trailer. We'll see. All right. I feel like Angel Tarot. I did the Universal Love deck. The pink one's on my right. I did these ones. I did these ones and these ones. I did these ones. I did these ones. I haven't done Rumi. Maybe this one. The pink one on my far right. I guess that might be this one. I haven't done Rumi. Should we do Rumi? But I did do the Love deck. Okay. Yes, I know. Merlin is such a... I love him so much. Gosh. And he kills all the bugs in my house. I tried to rescue a wasp the other day, but I got it out of the house finally, but he stunned the heck out of it. He even got stung and he kept going for it. He's crazy. All right, well, this is the theme. I mean, that's just the way the cards go. Passion for purpose, everybody. Get excited about your life. And if you're not excited about your life, then let some stuff go and find something you're excited about. Even if you have no idea what that is. If you're really lost and you really have no idea what you're passionate about, like if you've been in a depressive funk and you're just like, oh God, I'm not passionate about anything, I have nothing, there's nothing, then go back to your childhood and remember what you used to love to do when you were a little kid. That is a key to what you'll love to do as an adult. I used to love being in the sandbox. I'd be in the sandbox like 24/7 if I could, building, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. I love pottery, I love clay, I love getting dirty, I love gardening, I love dirt. Some people hate dirt, I love it. So that has been all the way along. So go to your childhood. Maybe you were the kid that organized plays. Maybe you were the kid that, created little like obstacle courses with your bicycle and got all the other kids together. Whatever it was you did. Maybe you made food for your friends, but go to what you used to love playing when you were little and start there. I really love to swing on the swings. Even as an adult, I'm embarrassed to say, but I can tell you guys, you're not going to judge me. So when I go for a run, I like to try to run by a park where I could go on the swing after. So I was really upset during coronavirus when they shut the playgrounds down. I'm very excited the swings are back in action. If you are in a crappy mood, you go find a swing and you swing on a swing, you will not be in a bad mood. It's impossible to be in a bad mood on a swing or blowing bubbles. Kids know where it's at, man. If you're in a bad mood, find somebody's kids to play with, but not in a creepy way. You know what I mean? Like, make sure you know the neighbors or whatever before you ask to play with their kids. You know what I'm saying? But blow bubbles, do some fun kid stuff, play outside, run through the sprinkler. Okay, go back to your 8-year-old self, your 9-year-old self. That will help get that energy flowing, and then you'll find your energy again, and then you'll be able to put that passion into your purpose. Also, meditation. I'm a big advocate of meditation, but I mean, most of you aren't going to sit quietly and meditate. It's just the way it is. Nobody wants to do that. It's boring, it's hard, it's this, it's that. So you don't have to sit quietly to meditate. You can go for a brisk walk, and that can become a meditation, or any kind of exercise. When you get in the zone, that's meditation. Whenever you're driving, a lot of us kind of go into a meditative state when we're driving, when we go on autopilot and our car ends up in the driveway and we don't know how we got there. You're in the zone. Okay, you could be folding laundry and be in the zone. So bring meditation into your life. Don't try to rearrange your life for meditation, but when you're in those moments, that's when you're receptive to receive clarity from your soul, from the universe, from your guides, from your angels. Getting in nature is perfect. Going for a walk in the woods, sitting on a rock, going by a waterfall. We have tons of waterfalls in Hamilton. Don't go on a weekend. It's a zoo. But find a little spot in nature, even if it's a park, even if it's laying on a patch of grass, a tree. That will help you connect. That will help you anchor your energy into yourself so that can come to you. But we're supposed to be creating things we're passionate about. So don't create things in a ho-hum way. If you're going to change your life and you're going to change your job and you're going to change your relationship and where you live and all that, then hell, be excited about where you're going to. I mean, if you're exiting something that doesn't work for you, why would you want to go get something that's exactly the same as what you had that you don't like anymore? That doesn't make any sense. Okay? You've already done that. We're supposed to go into the future. We're doing slightly new things. You can take some of the old with you, but it's okay to change right now. Like I said before, you can always go back to your past. That option is always available to you without judgment. So don't use that as an excuse or fear to hold you back. Just go for it. This is about you. This is about you finding your passion for life, because it's your responsibility to, okay? It's not just about having a good life. It's your responsibility to live your life with passion and purpose and live your best life ever so that you can be a better person to all of the people that you love in your life. Right? Imagine if we all did that. Imagine if we all chose today to be better people and to do this and to be more loving. I mean, the world would be where we want to be, right? But so much of us focus on the external, the other people, that kind of stuff, instead of doing the inner work. But if we all just did the inner work, we'd be there. So I'm not being judgy or anything. It is easier to observe other people because we can't see ourselves. It's impossible. That's why we have other people to reflect back our crazy stuff, right? Which is why relationships are so much fun. And why the LCBO is always busy. But anyway, okay, I'm a little crazy today. But yes, passion for purpose, guys. You need that to get through life. So I feel like we're kind of winding down. I might grab one final card here. The Angel Tarot, which I have not done. We've almost done all the decks today. That's a first. I think I'm talking faster today, though. Yeah, I'm a fast talker. When people book a session with me, they're like, do I need half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour? I'm like, well, book an hour, but we might be done in half an hour, because I've gone for sessions with people when they're channeling and they talk so slowly. Like this. It makes me crazy. I'm like, I'm paying for this. You better speed that up. Sorry, guys. I'm on fire today. Okay, Ace of Water. This is about going deep. You know how I was talking about meditating? So cups in the tarot represent wishes and dreams coming true. But they also represent the element of water, which is the element of intuition. And so you're to dive deep into your intuition to help you find your true, what your deep wishes and dreams are. Okay? Your soul is going to guide you to this anyway. Like, even if you go on autopilot and don't take any of my advice, you'll get there anyway. It's just, it's a lot easier to get from A to B when you're aware of, why is my life in chaos? And why is this happening? And why is this not working? Why is this going so quickly? But we are past that midpoint. So we've had our spiritual coronavirus retreat. We're now re-entering the world, but we're different. We're changed. And the world has changed too. So it's going to take some time to find our new footing. But it's also time to have courage and take the change that you need to take, because you're creating that new life for yourself. We got this huge opportunity for change. It was difficult. I mean, it was thrown on us, but go with it. Just go with it, okay? It's going to be good. You're going to look back. We're all going to look back on this time and be like, yeah, it wasn't fun, but wow, did my life ever change for the better? I'm pretty confident in that, okay? So everybody, your homework. I'm giving you homework. If you feel bogged down by heaviness, and if you feel like you really still need to let stuff go, have a fire, write down everything you want to release, throw it in the fire, okay? Then get a brand new journal and fill that up with all your wishes and dreams and hopes for the future. You're not allowed to bitch and complain in that journal. That is your happy dream and wish journal. You can have other journals that you complain in, that you can burn in a fire every now and then. Okay, so for those of you who feel like you've moved through that stuff and you're ready for the next thing, then I encourage you to set up a practice of meditation, even if it's a couple days a week, where you set the intention to connect, whether it's through activity or just sitting quietly or being in nature, and start to ask Spirit and say, listen, I want to develop my intuition, I want to open up more, bring it on, kind of thing. And for those of you who have been working on projects and working on them for a really long time and not doing anything with that stuff, now it's time to decide which projects you're going forward with and which ones you're leaving behind. Because if you didn't find time over the last few months to complete something, chances are you're probably not going to complete it going forward. What really helps there, if you're stuck, start cleaning out closets in your house if you haven't already. Get rid of that stuff you're not using, create some space, smudge your house, lighten up the energy. This is the place that you live. It's probably feeling kind of heavy from the last few months we've had, so spring clean it up, but don't forget to shift the energy too. So get some dried sage or some incense and just open the windows, let the fresh air in, bring some fresh flowers in, do whatever you need to do. At least have a corner of somewhere in your house that's like a sanctuary for yourself, somewhere where you can go and sit and you look at everything and all your favorite things are there and you just feel really good about life there. Okay, so that's your homework. And forgive yourself. That's for everybody. You don't have to forgive all the things, but pick a big juicy thing and slowly chip away at that, okay? All right, enjoy the rest of your day. It was a pleasure. I know I started doing this for coronavirus, but I think I'm going to keep it going because why not, right? It justifies my trailer hoarding. So I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. And I think this will post on my Instagram page. I don't know. I'm still figuring this out, but hopefully it will, or I will post it later. Okay? All right. Bye, guys.